think when Judy and I went over there, quite a while ago, to try to sign, they wouldn't even let
They
us
didn't
sign.
have it all done.
No, they didn't have it done.
After I had checked and said, this is what you need to do,
Yeah.
and then when we all got there, it's like, no,
Yep,
nothing's ready, so.
and you finally got, I think, Birmingham, we signed them here or something, didn't
We did one here, and then we did one electronically.
we? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anybody heard from Judy, whether she's gonna be here?
I haven't heard.
I haven't heard. Usually she'll let me know if she's not.
She goes out of state a lot at different times. Maybe go Easter, she went somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here she is.
There she is. Oh. Sorry, Judy, I didn't unlock that other door.
Probably broke.
You over here.
Okay, oh gosh, I sit next to a wall.
Uh-oh. Keep him in line. That's.
I don't think that's a problem.
Well, it's 7:00.
Okay,
Judy's not ready.
Yeah, you can take your time.
I was gonna say, my watch isn't, so I'll get it to
I was
you.
gonna say, I think we got about a minute or 30 seconds.
No big rush.
Hurry, hurry. Judy.
6:59.
You can go ahead, son, you know, you can wait.
Oh, I got a long ways to go, so.
I have to.
Okay, it is 7:00, and I will call the meeting to order. Judy, if you can give us a roll call, please.
Jane Beal? Here. Jenna Brookshire?
She's not here today.
I can't remember. Fern Detheridge?
Here.
Carlin Dillon?
He's from the absent.
That's it, okay. Ron McMullen?
Here.
Judy Walter? Here. Scotty Walker?
Present.
And Judy Walker.
And there's someone.
George Jarman?
Do we have,
Sandy Henke?
Here.
Georgia, are you there? She told me she'd be online.
She might just be like getting on.
Okay, do we have any public comments? All right, no public comments. Any discussion on the consent agenda items?
I move we approve the consent items.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Jane to approve the consent agenda items. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Jane Beal? Yes. Ron McMullen?
Yes.
Judy Walter?
Yes.
Fern Detheridge?
Yes.
Sandy Henke?
Yes.
Judy Tyler, yes. And Scotty Walker.
Yes. Motion carries. Any unfinished business?
No.
New business.
So consider approval to apply for the Show Me Steps to Continuing Education Individual NTLD June 2022 grant. That's a mouthful.
I had to look at that, and I would, if it'd been me filling it out, it would have gone.
That's the law. So basically, it's a Show Me Steps Continuing Education grant for an individual instead of a group. And so this is offered to new library directors, although I'm not new, I did attend their new library director boot camp to refresh myself on Missouri library. And so I was offered the grant as well. So it pays for the Missouri Public Library directors meeting or conference that we go to twice a year. So it would pay for the one coming up in June. So it's probably going to be about probably $500 and $600 max for that grant. But anyway, it's a reimbursable grant. So just asking permission to apply for that.
And that's the one we have to put during chicken time.
That one is a 10% match, yes.
I make a motion that we go for this and submit this.
I'm seconding.
Motion by Judy Walter, second by Ron McMullen. Sorry, calling you Ron McConville. Roll call vote, please.
Jane Deal,
Yes.
Ron McMullen,
Yes.
Judy Walter,
Yes.
Fern Detheridge,
Yes.
Sandy Henke,
yes,
Judy Tyler, yes. Scotty Walker,
Yes.
motion passed.
Hi, Sandy.
hi there.
Good to see you. You drinking liquor?
My coffee, time for my nightly coffee.
Shoot.
Next up.
Consider approval to apply for the STEM kit grant. So this is another one through the state library. And we can order these pre-made STEM or STEAM kits to circulate. We can either use them for circulating at to our patrons, or we can use them in-house and/or, so we can do both of those. So it's, so STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math, I believe. And then the STEAM has the art in there. These would be pre-made kits that had activities and things in them that they could check out and then return, so we can circulate them, and then we can use them for in-house programming as well. So we can get up to $4,000 for up to 5 branches. So we could get a maximum of 20,000. So just asking for approval to apply for that.
So you're thinking this is a good deal?
Oh, yeah, yeah. There was some extra LSTA money that they had left over, so they were trying to find a way to have a grant, so it would benefit libraries. And it's all, you know, the STEM and all of that stuff is very big right now.
Who's going to apply for it individually, I mean, personnel wise, and are they going to, I mean, who's going to control the spending of that money?
So it would be for technical service or collection development would actually do the selecting. But any grants that come through, I have the folder in my office, so I manage the grants, so to speak. So I have all of that. So even though some of the stuff may be delegated, all of that information comes back, and I have everything in a folder for all of our different.
So we just pick out our own stuff? They don't just send you a box full of stuff?
No, we pick it out. They're already pre-made kits, and all we do is process them in for circulation.
Use them.
So do you know, does any library ever apply for something like this and they don't get it?
Yes.
Does it?
It does happen, because there's only so much money.
Yeah.
And so, some of them are more competitive than others, depending on how much money that they have in that pot. So, and I forget how much they said that was available. It might have been in the documentation that I sent, but it's quite a bit, so for them to offer 20,000. If you have multiple branches, you could get up to 20,000.
I'll make a motion that we apply for that grant because it's all free money for us.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Sandy and a second by Fern. Any other discussion? I would just like to throw this out there, knowing that there is only a limited, and some people could apply and get turned down. Have we waited too long to apply?
This just came out. We
Okay.
barely got it into the packet. That's how new this one is.
Okay, so my thought was, and I know we talked about this in a previous meeting, that you wanted to get board approval to apply for grants, but would it not make more sense on something like that, just to go ahead and apply?
And if the deadline to apply is, before a board meeting, I will go ahead and submit an application, ask for the approval after the fact. And if you guys aren't on board with it, then I can pull our application. So that way we don't miss out on those opportunities.
And I just would.
But I
hate to
just
miss out
want to
on
make
something.
sure that the board is on board with what I'm doing, so. as far as-
And we all appreciate that, I'm sure,
Mhm.
but I just would hate to miss out
Oh,
because
sure.
we
But
waited.
didn't we have a comment from our auditors that they weren't coming through here?
There were some issues, I think, with the management of the grants. Like, when she did the audit just for an example, she did the audit this last year. We had to pull from multiple different places to get the information for the grant, and it should be in one folder, with the grant number on, and so that all stays in my office until the grant is finished, and then it goes out into our admin filing cabinet for our records. So, yeah.
You got it.
Yes, I do. Because I was like, where's all the stuff? And so I'm like, nope. So even if somebody else does a part, they get that to me and it goes in my folder.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote, Judy?
Jane Beal,
Yes.
Ron McMullen,
Yes.
Judy Walter,
Yes.
Fern Deatherage,
Yes.
Sandy Henke,
Yes,
Judy Tyler is yes, and Scotty Walker.
Yes.
Looks like they're gonna have 275,000 available.
Okay, I was thinking it was in there somewhere. Yeah, it's quite a bit. So, thank you.
But the early bird gets the worm. Or the 200.
We are already working on both of these grants. So I'm hoping, the Show Me Steps grant for the conference, I'm hoping to submit it by the end of the week. The other one, I'm hoping we can do pretty quickly as well. So that one's gonna take a little bit more time.
A lot of things to fill out.
There is.
Next.
All right, consider approval of public services manager credit card with credit card limit of 4,000. This is just pretty standard. I mean, this position, had a credit card. They're over marketing, programming, PR, and so, it's, easier for them to have a credit card for a lot of things. And I gave you the information there. We have a total credit limit of 100,000. We're currently only utilizing 51,000 on 15 different cards, because we added 8 branch managers last month, and then we're going to be canceling 2 this month as well. Sarah and that's the other one.
So people have left.
Yes, we just wanted to make sure that anything that was being paid by theirs before we canceled the card,
Okay.
that we got everything switched over. So
Who is the public service manager?
that is Tessa Molson. So I'm hoping, I'm hoping that eventually we'll get her to a board meeting to introduce her to you guys. She is still kind of working both jobs at the moment. So May 23rd, she'll be with us full time.
Both jobs, or other job now with the library?
Yep. Yep, she's a teacher.
Okay, so we guess we need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we provide a credit card to the service manager in the amount of 4,000.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Judy Walter, a second by Ron McMullen. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Jane
Oh,
Beal. Ron McMullen,
Yes.
Judy Walter,
Yes.
Fern Deatherage,
Yes.
Sandy Henke,
yes,
Judith Tyler, yes. Scotty Walker.
Yes. All right.
All right, so next is the safety deposit box discussion, kind of what you guys want to do. Right now, I think the only two names that are on it are Scotty's and then the previous director, Tanya Shelton Council. So we kind of need to decide whether we're gonna keep the safety deposit box. If we are, then we'll need to make that motion to, change the signatures on there so that I can be on there. And if not, then we would need a motion if you wanted to just close it out. It does cost us currently $50 a year. It was costing $25 a year, and evidently in the original agreement, it was complimentary as well as some other things. But I did look back in the files, I believe that was in 2006, and that was for 3 years. The agreement was for 3 years, and then an additional 2 years could be added on to that. And so I'm not sure if right after that is when the complimentary came off, but I know we had been paying $25 and then they doubled it. It is just our deeds and titles, and we do have the safe in the admin office. We have plenty of room in there, and it's a fire safe, fireproof safe. So.
I sure wish someone would have told us to do this about 5 years ago, because I would have said, let's just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks like UMB you have down here is trying to phase out there.
they are, yes, they are trying to phase out that service.
Anything that you can go get a copy of while there's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I make a motion, we close out the safe deposit box.
I'll second it.
Motion by Fern, second by Ron. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Jane Deal,
Yes.
Ron McMullen.
Yes.
Judy Walter,
Yes.
Fern Deckard,
Yes,
Sandy Henke,
Yes,
Judith Tyler, yes. Scotty Walker.
Yes.
All right.
Now, wait a minute. So
Oh.
you're going to need me to come down there to get this stuff out, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm not on there. Yes, so Ron needs to come and answer it.
Scotty, no.
I don't think I'll pass, no.
So when does this come due?
We're paid up through January. So
Okay.
January is
Okay.
when we would pay for it again, so
Okay.
we have time.
Okay.
Thank you for that. I would have thought of that later. I'm like, oh, I can't go do that. All right, fiscal year 2023 meeting dates and locations. So I had them all there in your packet, so I don't know if you're okay with that. I didn't try to put in any locations. I figured you guys would want to discuss that. I do have some information as far as the streaming options on which branches we could do that, if you're interested in hearing that. So, it looks like, so we can do, so they split it into social distancing and without. Right now, we're not as worried about the social distancing, but that would be Warrensburg, Knob Noster, and Odessa. We could stream in those with social distancing. The other 5 branches, we could stream, but we would have to be closer together. So,
Where are we at? Where you, what?
it is,
Right here. Oh, that's that right here, isn't it?
6E, yeah.
Right here?
You're a little too far, yeah. Go back a little bit. It should be on the second
Okay.
page. Yeah.
All right.
Yep, there you go. So these are kind of our standard meetings. August, of course, is usually a week later because of the tax levy. And I didn't know as far as the December 21st, if everybody was good with that, if we needed to change it. And then, of course, determining those locations.
I would like to see us get back to going out to locations and getting their involvement, because you used to have the branch manager give us a little
Oh,
3-minute as part of the the community.
Would kind of give their report
Yeah,
in person,
and,
yeah.
It's nice, I don't know how many of the newer members have been to some of these locations. Scotty, I am Fern, been to all of them.
And Judy.
And Judy.
Yeah, it's nice, it's just if we don't have a big COVID thing again.
Well, that, and the way
They
we
talk like
had it
that's coming back up.
set up before was we had the closer ones in the winter. And then we went to the distances.
And I have talked to, the Wheaton, manager, or whatever her title is there at the school, Deanna. And she said she would love to host a board meeting there at Wheaton. I think she's done that. in the
We've done that
past as
too,
well.
usually the May meeting or something like that. is
Oh, okay.
just missing the school. I guess I could make a motion to that effect, back out to the branches for our, the majority of our meetings. We still have a number of them here. And anything special.
Do we want to go ahead and try to set those, or do you want me to put something together for next month, like a proposal of the different branches to visit? I mean, whatever you want me to do.
I know we used to have knob like in February. But as far as, you said knob is Warrensburg?
Knob, Warrensburg, and Odessa, we can have social distancing, and we can stream at all the other branches, but of course, the smaller the branch, the closer, the more friendly we have to get with each other. Yeah. Not right now.
Not today.
Sandy's got a, comment.
Yes.
Why, could we just set them at the Warrensburg branch for now? And as, you know, if somebody wants to volunteer at their library, you know, depending on the time of the year, at least set the winter ones, you know, at Warrensburg, so we can all stream, you know, with no problems. And, you know, COVID is kind of showing up again in a lot of places, but, and then maybe, you know, we can, you know, pencil in, you know, to be determined at a different location as so deemed. I don't know. Just a thought.
Well, I think we could set them to be at the different branches, because I think at least 3 of them were at Warrensburg. Of course, we never had a December meeting, so we had to. And then if we have to change them, there's another COVID scare, we can decide back to Warrensburg.
That would work.
We won't change them till July, right?
Right.
Right, yeah, we
Yeah.
have them all set for
Yeah,
now.
good. June, May and June will still be here.
Yes, we already have those set.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea, too.
Well, then I second Judy Walter's question. We take them out to the branches again.
Take them out to the branches.
Do you want me to put something together for next month's meeting for possible
You
locations
can,
for the
you
month?
may even want to poll the managers and see when they want to come.
Okay, how about the August meeting being in Lexington? I mean, we always do it in Warrensburg, but, you know, Lexington is, their county seat should have a chance to sit in on that too if they want,
Oh, for the tax.
for the tax audit.
Sure.
Mhm.
And could you not make the
That's a
July
good
meeting?
idea.
I won't be there.
Well, probably, I would think during, you know, the warmer months, we'll go out a little farther and then come back a little bit when it gets colder.
We can do Odessa in September, but since that's the one meeting I'm missing in July, and that's the closest, I'd rather it not be.
Yeah, why don't you just come back with the places?
Huh?
I'd rather hold it in October.
If we need a roll call.
Who made that as a motion, right?
Judy Walter made the motion and Judy Powers.
Okay. So motion and a second, any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Jane Deal,
Yes.
Ron McMullen.
Yes.
Judy Walter,
Yes.
Fern Detheridge.
Yes.
Sandy Henke,
Yes.
Cindy Tyler, yes, and Scotty Walker.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. Annual library-related promotional events and celebration, and Scotty had asked me to add this to the agenda, so I don't know if you want.
So I'm just gonna tell you why I put this on here. I felt like I kind of got jumped on because we as a board were celebrating National Library Week. And I've been on this board for a long time and we've never done anything. And I talked with Ron and I want us as a board to know what all kinds of things go on and if we want to decide we want to celebrate, the whole board can decide that. So there's nothing to decide right now. I just want everybody to know that I wasn't snubbing Library Week, and the board wasn't snubbing Library Week. It's just nothing we've ever even really heard of or was told about. So if anybody has any discussion on that, jump right in and start discussing. But that's why I wanted this to be in our packet.
I'm sure the branch managers are celebrating, I mean, they're having significant input on, that they do locally, but, I went through there and said, well, that was 22, wait, what's it gonna be in 23, so.
I didn't look those up, I just looked up the current year.
That's all right, I've got it here if you need them.
Okay, you looked it up for us?
I looked it
Oh,
up.
okay, good, thank
So I'm just kind of looking through all these. Are these things that our libraries are typically observing?
you. Yep, these are pretty much, things that we observe, most years. I would say most libraries observe all of these, in some way. They'll do a display or they have programming, kind of around those things. National Library Week, of course, is a big one, and we did, I think we put in, anyway, we had a whole week of things, so we did like a spirit week like the schools do, so, wear your pajamas and, all of this stuff, crazy hat, crazy hair, so we had fun with it. And of course, during that week, we also have Outreach Day, which used to be National Bookmobile Day, and then we have National Library Workers Day, and those are kind of within that same week as well, so.
Yeah, you mentioned, National Book Mobile.
Mhm.
That's a source that
I know. But the last library I came in North Dakota, we had a bookmobile.
Well, that was a different story.
I know, it was so much fun.
They didn't have as many branch lots.
That's true. We only had the main branch and then our
That's
bookmobile.
it.
I've got a question.
Yes.
On September, it's library card sign-up month. What about if we do something? I mean, I'd be willing as a board member in Concordia to go to the schools and try to sign kids up for a library card. If we could do something like that to get, some good exposure. If everybody, whoever in your town, if
Branch managers
go
do
to the
already.
schools.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
managers already go to the school as part of our outreach to try to get cards, and I'm trying to think which.
Okay, I didn't know they did that. Okay.
Yeah, which school it was, but they're
Heard
gonna,
him say.
sorry, Sandy, I keep
Well, and
talking
then-
over you and I'm.
And then I saw something about where people can apply to get books in the mail or something, like, would that be people at the nursing homes? I know this is a different area, but is that something that's new, that those people can get books if they're in the nursing home?
I would,
Yeah.
I would say if they qualified, with, there's a form that they have to fill out to qualify. If they qualified, I would,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
And how much money does it cost to send those to mail?
We
Great.
generally send
Huh?
branch
Motion to pay, yeah,
Huh?
both
Good, I
ways.
didn't know that.
items.
We kind of moved on to the next one,
Down,
so.
down.
Books by mail, just the program
Yeah.
update. Scotty had asked for an update on the program. So,
So just for some background to the, back, I guess it's been over a year, Sarah Evans brought this idea to us. Postage is paid for by the post office both ways. patrons that want to use this, they have to fill out some forms and signed by a doctor or a healthcare worker saying that they're unable to get to the library, they're homebound or whatever. And then, I don't know the mechanics of it, but they can request the books. Somebody in the library puts those books together, puts them in a bag and mails them out. And then when they're done, they mail them back. The foundation donated the money for these bags, and you're on the foundation, aren't you? We spent quite a bit of money on it.
That was $300.
So just 300? I thought it was more than that.
I don't know, it could have been,
But I just wanted, Jackie and I talked a little bit about this, and she told me that it's not being used very, very infrequently.
I have the update here. So we have currently 3 active users. We have located in Odessa, Lexington, and Warrensburg. 2 joined early on in the program, then we've had a 3rd one that joined here recently. So there were, of course, some brief interruptions to the service due to staff changes and things like that. But they have just been sent a new batch of books. And so hopefully we'll be able to continue. Probably the biggest thing is the marketing piece. And it's not just with this, it's with some other other things, just trying to get the word out for programs, for services. And so that definitely is something we're going to be looking at. I just did branch visits with Tessa last week and then early this week. And Lexington has a wonderful, wonderful display of this. And I actually took a picture. I was like, who did this? Because I think we need that. I mean, because it's like on yellow, on red, and it's just bright, it's big, and it has the different steps on how to do it. And so, I mean, I think it was Tawny at our Lexington branch that put that together. And it's just wonderful. So I took a picture of it so that we could hopefully recreate it at some of our other branches.
I feel like that we were told that there would be flyers, and there's no flyers in Holden that I've ever
I've
seen.
never seen a book.
And I had asked at the post office, could it be put on the bulletin board? It says, yeah, if it's a community thing, put on the bulletin board. But nothing was ever,
Yeah.
at least to Holden, there wasn't. And I feel like that we've invested in this program. We need to get the word out there. I mean, I don't even think there was a sign in the library, so.
Well, you mentioned there was a display in library, I don't care which one it was.
Looks
but
like-
The thing of it is, if people can't get into the library, to begin with, because they're homebound for medical reasons, they're not gonna see that display. Now, their friends or their neighbors may,
Family or something.
and
yeah.
tell them about it.
Mhm.
But we need, I don't know, and that's the reason we have a program.
That's right, and she's new, so she's already on it.
Ideas.
I've already put her on it, so yeah, so hopefully we'll come up with some ideas to help market it, because you're right, they're not the ones that are coming into the library, so if their friends, family doesn't tell them about it, they're not gonna know, because they can't get out. That's why, why we have the program. And I know there's a need for it, but it's just trying to get the word out and get the information to the right people.
And if there are flyers to accompany the display, then they can take one.
And I know all the branches have brochures, they have applications, they have flyers.
Yeah.
Of course, every branch kind of posts it to different places or has different places for their information.
Odessa is like, as you're going out the door and
Mhm.
over there in the corner, and unless you really go over there.
Yeah, and like we said, though, the people that need it are in the library, they're not coming in.
And I agree with that, but the people that will see it and go tell their whoever that that's available, they might be more likely to see a display than a flyer stuck on the bulletin.
Right, and I
They
think
can
that
take the
one,
flyer with them.
Yeah.
And take them
Yeah.
to the
I have-
person that might.
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question. The reason, because I was seeing that I'm involved in a project at the Good Shepherd Home as a member of the auxiliary, and I know they have requested some books for people, that some of those people, those residents are wanting books. So would it be possible, would it be okay if I took this flyer up there and they posted it up there so people could see it at the nursing home?
absolutely.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because I know there are several people that have requested books. I mean, we're doing putting some bags together for the residents, and and some of the residents had wanted DVDs and they wanted books. And this would be an ideal situation for these people, to get those things without, because they can't get out. They have no idea. And a lot of those people, those families, their families don't even live here. So they find out nothing about it.
Those that do live here may not care about it. I was in a nursing home for a while. No.
And I worked in one, and there's like a lot of people.
You'll see that?
I would see how big and nice that is.
I would say that along with taking a flyer out to post on their board, you also take some applications.
Applications, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I will take applications and everything, so they could, they could take care of it.
That's good.
That's a good idea, Sandy, thank you.
I have a question,
yes.
and I know we talked about this before, but I think we said it was okay to do this, like at Meyer Nursing Home in Higginsville and John Knox in Higginsville. And John Knox, most of the people can come and go, but some of them don't have really a car or really a means of transportation. Can we do it there too, even though Higginsville has their own library? Because there are people in the nursing home that weren't originally from Higginsville. That's right. My sister and brother-in-law are there. They were from Porter. I can name some other people from Porter.
I know people at John Knox up there who were from Lexington that just recently moved to John Knox.
Well, and those people have paid taxes they may have paid Lafayette County taxes. They have they would deserve to get the services. Yeah, I think any nursing home within us would be eligible to get a flyer and forms.
So can you give Sandy the,
Yeah,
What's
Sandy,
it-
if you need copies or anything, just let me know.
Okay.
I can send them to your branch.
They'll make copies.
all right. Thank you for doing that for us.
Thank you.
Okay, announcements.
Okay, so the only one that I had was, the Warrensburg branch is gonna be closing at 2:30 on Monday, May 2nd. So that the staff can attend a crisis intervention training, at the police department. But that has been changed since I sent the packet out, so it's gonna be Monday, May 16th now instead of the 2nd.
I think that is so wonderful for the police department to do that. And if anybody knows, it's a mental health intervention. And, because I know I've been at the award ceremony for the River Valley Police Department, who got some awards because a lot of them, not the Lafayette County Sheriff's Department, are certified in CIT because they do run into a lot of potential suicides. So they have Wayne County, Earl County, and Lafayette County, all in the group there or whatever, and work towards that. And FYI, Bay City has a mental health court that all cities in Lafayette County can bring people to, and it's people who are arrested, but they have mental health issues. So if they choose to go to the mental health court, they can, they give them resources and give them potential counseling, et cetera, and then that doesn't go on their record. So if you're talking about some of the schizophrenics who go and steal coffee from the gas stations, go in and various things like that. But as I said, Bay City has a mental health court that the judge is the same one who does Jackson County Mental Health Court, but it's open to every city in Lafayette County.
Oh, wow, I wasn't aware of that, so that's nice, yeah. As you know, our Warrensburg staff deal with situations all day, every day.
I was glad to see too that some of the situations are being discussed or worked together. And it seems that it's hopefully getting some of it resolved.
I It feels like it is as far as, but then again, like we, our assistant director Susan, she met with, the police chief, and he gave us stats on calls to the Warrensburg branch,
I
and
saw that, and it was like, 2 years ago, it was like 8 for the whole year, last year it was 21, and this year already it's 33.
the opposite. So last year it was 33 for the whole year, and then this year,
There's-
just through March,
March
was
is
25.
Yeah,
What
25.
is this?
How many calls that the police department has made to our Warrensburg branch. So it's just increasing, you know. We've already, you know, and I know we've had several since the end of March that I'm
Are
aware of.
those calls mostly people just hanging around, or?
We've had fights, we've had, you know, I had one guy the last time that I was aware that we called, I had a guy come charging up the steps at me, because I was trying to get him to leave the, you know, our property, because he was trying to fight 2 other guys outside, and so I'm like, well, you need to leave our property, and he, you know, and he just come, he had his shirt off, and he come running up the steps at me, and I just, you know, over my shoulder, I said, Susan, would you please call? And then I put my hand up and he stopped, but I had no idea what he was gonna do. And, you know, so we had to fill out police reports because one of the, because he hit 2 of the guys when he was leaving and they wanted to press charges, so we had to do like a witness statement or whatever, so, yeah. And it's, you know, when I was, down here as kind of acting branch manager, you know, addressing these things and, you know, trying to stay on top of it, you know, we had several fights, you know, we've had people that we've had to call for, you know, a welfare check or whatever, we couldn't get them to wake up. So, yeah. And it's all day, every day. I mean, even if it's just put your shoes on in the library, you know, it's just things that, you know, if you're here day after day, you know what our rules are, what our policies are, and we shouldn't, I mean, these ladies should not have to be addressing this every single day, all day long. So we put a little, you know, some internal procedures in place to give the staff guidance on, you know, what they can do, what they can do and how to do it, and, you know, how many times do they have to address this before they can ask that person to leave for the day. And so we have all of that kind of work. I think Jay is finishing working on that. We've kind of gone back and forth on it, so.
So where do staff park?
On the street.
Like,
Either
Along-
North Street or Holden Street. And I have them now because we used to have people hanging in the parking lot when they would close, like literally people would walk out and then they're locking the door and they're walking to the car. And I've seen people walking, and I'm sure it wasn't always wanted that they were walking with them. And so staff now, I have told them for safety reasons, you don't leave this building until the parking lot is empty. And so they have to tell people if they're hanging around that they have to leave. And the police have done a really good job, not, you know, that they check the parking lot, because we've been here after hours standing out, you know, kind of talking, and they go by and they're like, do we need to pull in there, you know? So they are watching and keeping an eye, and they did say that whenever they can, they will kind of do a walkthrough. So, but yeah, it just continues to increase with the incident. So, and we're, you know, we're taking all these steps to try to improve things, and in some ways it has, and then other ways it hasn't. And it's not always us that calls. Sometimes they get into, you know, altercations between 2 patrons, and then one of them will call. So it's not always something that we call.
Mostly elderly people. Mostly college kids.
No, it's mostly homeless patrons that we have. That's where most of the behavior issues, or if they have some kind of mental health issue or addiction issue. I mean, there's some folks that we have no issues with them, you know, for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they're here all day, every day, and then all of a sudden they're under the influence of something, and then we have problems with them. So that was one of the last ones, was, you know, great, but then, you know, with, I think, alcohol. And so we had to call, and if he'd have just left, but of course, sometimes they don't want to leave, they just get mouthy.
Well, at least with alcohol, you can use smell it.
Other stuff.
Whereas the other stuff, you're not sure what.
Absolutely.
Any other business? I will adjourn. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Good to see you, gal.
You too.
Good to see you.